It's going to have to be a full-blown, I am sorry, I lied, I am a terrible person, tail in between the legs, and that's what we deserved, everything. And it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing? Like, they're basically bullying him again in the lawsuit.
Screaming, crying, smashing things. No, it wasn't a movie scene. It was Blake Lively's real-life meltdown the moment she got hit with a lawsuit from none other than Candace Owens.
It was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
Live birth porn.
Witnesses say the moment the legal documents landed, Blake lost it. She didn't just panic. She reportedly threw a full-blown tantrum, the kind you'd expect from a spoiled teen star, not a grown woman with an entire career to protect.
There's going to be a lot stronger defamation claims against Ryan Reynolds.
One insider called it embarrassing, adding that Blake was so used to controlling the narrative, she simply didn't know how to function when someone dared to check her. But this wasn't just an actress having a bad day. This was a woman watching her entire public image shatter in real time. Because Candace didn't come in quietly, she came in swinging, flipping Hollywood's script upside down, and dragging every skeleton out of Blake's perfectly curated walk-in closet.
But boy, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of embarrassing, right?
According to Candace's suit, Blake wasn't just an innocent celebrity navigating fame. She was a behind-the-scenes manipulator, using her influence to intimidate, dominate, and destroy. The accusations that Blake orchestrated a full-blown campaign to slander, smear, and silence anyone who challenged her. That she used her connections in the media to plant stories, twist facts, and shape headlines that painted her as a flawless icon while bullying people into submission behind closed doors. And the twist? It worked for a while. Blake built a pristine, Pinterest-worthy reputation as the cool, relatable it girl, all while allegedly pulling strings to torpedo reputations in private. But Candace Owens, she wasn't having it. Her lawsuit calls out Blake's narcissism, her control freak tendencies, and her obsession with always getting her way. Suddenly, all those perfect mom Instagram posts hit a little different, don't they?
Did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away. I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't. I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram, and he just seemed like a puppy.
Now, let's talk about Ryan, because you know Blake wasn't going to spiral alone. Candace's legal team claims Blake used Ryan like her personal Hollywood bulldozer, allegedly pressuring him to lean on studios, bully publicists, and protect her at all costs. But Ryan didn't exactly play the silent sidekick. He allegedly called Justin Baldoni a predator, had a red carpet event, and then tried to hide behind the "it's just satire" defense. His legal team argued that it was all protected opinion, just a joke. But bestie, jokes don't usually come with defamation, extortion, and interference claims stacked on top. The court wasn't buying it either. Ryan's motion to be dismissed from the lawsuit, tossed like yesterday's PR draft, even worse, leaked. Text messages between Ryan and Hugh Jackman allegedly show a whole new level of backroom scheming, where the jokes might have just been the tip of a very nasty iceberg. And now, Ryan's cute, sarcastic persona is looking less like charm and more like cowardice with a punchline.
And I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you want.
Candace didn't sugarcoat it. She straight up called Blake a spoiled brat. She painted a picture of a woman raised in privilege, addicted to control, and obsessed with maintaining a facade of perfection. Someone who, when life didn't go her way, would rather destroy someone else's than admit she lost. Candace accused Blake of building chaos out of boredom, of weaponizing her privilege to get what she wanted, and of weaponizing the media itself to do her dirty work. Like that New York Times piece Blake allegedly helped shape, Owens dragged her for it. She called it a distraction tactic, a narrative play, a glittery cover-up designed to hide the real damage being done behind the scenes. All that glamour, that nice girl branding, the curated red carpet smiles, it's being recast as calculated distraction from a decade of manipulation.
So I just kind of had her down to a prototype and said, I'm going to pump the brakes and see what happens. And then when Brian Friedman came back with the facts, they were just undeniable. You know, it was undeniable.
The most dangerous thing about this meltdown? It's public. Studios are panicking. PR firms are scrambling. Insiders are whispering that this tantrum and lawsuit combo is just the tip of the iceberg that Blake's entire empire was built on. Illusion. And now that illusion is collapsing, and the public, they're eating it up. What was once Hollywood royalty is now being roasted online as a cautionary tale. What happens when you believe your own PR a little too much?
It was kind of a radical thing to want, and they were arguing that, careers could be ruined. Well, what could be ruined? You might be a little embarrassed, but to ruin a career, there has to be some level of fraud.
For years, Blake Lively controlled her image like a PR puppet master. Red carpets, designer gowns, giggling late-night interviews, and a social feed curated to perfection. But all it took was one lawsuit from Candace Owens to flip that flawless facade on its head. Candace didn't just file legal papers. She dragged Blake out into the daylight and exposed the strategy behind the starlet. A woman who didn't play the Hollywood game, she tried to own it. From day one, Candace saw straight through the whole nice girl act. The lawsuit wasn't about drama, it was about justice. She called Blake out for what she saw, a manipulative narcissist obsessed with control, power, and public worship. And when the media tried to paint Baldoni as the aggressor, Candace wasn't having it. She hit back hard, naming Blake as the true puppet master who fed the press lies, spun narratives, and sat back while everyone else took the heat.
In terms of how you're presenting yourself to the public and who you are in private.
Blake and Ryan didn't just live in a bubble, they apparently believed they were the bubble. Insiders say their attitude was textbook celebrity ego trip. We're rich, we're hot, we know Taylor Swift, the world adores us. But the moment things started collapsing, their go-to move wasn't accountability, it was defensiveness. Candace called it out as pure delusion. She said Blake and Ryan truly believed they were untouchable, that any online backlash must have been inorganic, that any criticism was jealousy, and that their reputation alone would shield them. Except it didn't. And now, that fantasy is crashing down, and it's not just satisfying, it's historic.
And so this filing to dismiss is essentially him saying nah, boo-boo, on the defamation claim, you can't touch me, because it's satire.
The deeper this scandal got, the more obvious it became that Blake was the one calling the shots. According to multiple sources, Blake didn't just let Ryan defend her, she weaponized him. She told him when to speak, who to threaten, and what narrative to push. One moment in particular, that infamous penthouse meeting in January 2024. Think mob movie energy. Ryan allegedly screamed at Justin Baldoni, face red, veins bulging, while Blake sat back like a director watching her script unfold. This wasn't a team effort, this was a queen sacrificing her king on the Hollywood chessboard. And Ryan, he played right into it. His usual funny guy charm vanished, replaced by anger, legal threats, and public accusations. But the rage didn't look natural. Insiders say he was acting out of pressure. From Blake, from her demands, from the desperate need to protect the empire they'd built on lies.
Ryan Reynolds did call Justin Baldoni a predator.
Behind the scenes, Blake was allegedly making power plays so extreme, even seasoned execs were left speechless. Remember her demand list at Sony? She practically stormed into the office like it was a throne room, issuing ultimatums and threatening to shut down entire productions if she didn't get her way. One studio head reportedly said, "Dealing with Blake was like negotiating with a hurricane in heels." Her demands weren't about creative vision. They were about control. Control over casting, script edits, marketing, even wardrobe choices. It wasn't collaboration. It was dictatorship with designer lipstick.
There's 5 other claims. He's got extortion, he's got false light, and everything immediately falls apart there. But I'm saying even that was ill-advisable. I would not have said, quote unquote, hurt feelings and saying they're basically bullying him again in the lawsuit.
Then came the receipts, texts, emails, meeting transcripts, internal reports, and every single one painted a picture of Blake as the mastermind. Suddenly, the emotional victim narrative disappeared. There was no question anymore. Blake wasn't the one being attacked. She was pulling the strings the whole time. And when those receipts hit the public, it was over. Her sweet girl branding evaporated, replaced by a new image. An image of a woman so obsessed with control. She torched her own empire just to prove she could.
They've got you on this extortion. His argument is so weak. He's basically saying, well, I didn't receive any money. And it's buddy, extortion is a lot bigger than that. You made threats to go public with sexual harassment claims that your wife could take over the movie, which you wrote scenes for.
We're officially past diva behavior. This was a full-on Hollywood extortion arc. Sources inside Sony confirmed it. Blake and Ryan's legal team didn't negotiate. They threatened. They made it crystal clear that if Blake didn't get exactly what she wanted, they'd walk away mid-production, leaving Sony to suffer multi-million-dollar losses. And we're not talking small potatoes. These were massive productions, tight schedules, A-list budgets, and legal contracts ready to implode. Blake allegedly weaponized all of it like her personal bargaining chip. She leveraged her influence over the project like a queen on a warpath. Give me what I want, or I burn the place down. And guess what? She got what she wanted. Directorial control. Baldoni out. Composer Brian Tyler out. Reports say she even tried to slide in Taylor Swift's name to replace the score, without any confirmation from Taylor's team. Yes, she allegedly name-dropped Taylor like she was playing Celebrity Uno. Reverse, draw 4, and give me full editing power.
There's going to be a lot stronger defamation claims against Ryan Reynolds, because could you imagine the text messages between him and Hugh Jackman as they're putting together all of these scenes? I mean, it's going to get crazy.
While Blake was bullying studios, she allegedly had her PR team working overtime to control the story. Enter the media manipulation phase, fluff pieces and glamour, soft focus interviews in the New York Times, redemption arc language strategically, placed like sprinkles on a poisoned cupcake. But Candace Owens wasn't fooled, and she made damn sure no one else was either. She called it out plain. This wasn't media coverage. This was PR gaslighting on steroids. Owens described it as Operation Mockingbird Hollywood Edition, except instead of a government propaganda network, it was Blake and her team running damage control while secretly running the entire production. Like a hostile takeover. And guess who was quarterbacking the whole thing? Ryan.
I mean, they're all going to have to pay for the associated inconveniences, the travel, the lawyers, if Hugh Jackman, anyone getting deposed who's got to make arrangements for it if they have to get their own lawyers or whatever it is. And here's Ryan, should be looking out for them and not himself.
While Blake puppeteered production, Ryan wasn't just by her side, he was her enforcer. Forget the supportive husband narrative. Court documents, leaked texts, and public meltdowns confirmed it. Ryan Reynolds was knee-deep in the smear. Campaign against Baldoni, the infamous Nice Pool character, that wasn't satire. That was an intentional public takedown, disguised as just a joke. Ryan's defense? It was comedy. Candace's response? This is character assassination, not stand-up. She even pointed out Ryan's bizarre pattern of inserting himself into pseudo-gay characters for attention. Not because it's progressive, but because it makes him look edgy while conveniently letting him dodge real accountability. Let's be honest, when you've got text receipts, scripts, press statements, and Hollywood whispers all pointing to, one man, you can't hide behind a Deadpool mask anymore. He wasn't being funny, he was being vicious.
Without question, I really do think she's just a spoiled brat. Like, it just goes down to something that simple. She's a spoiled brat, and she's used to getting what she wants from the time that she was a kid. And this is what she wanted. And I do think that people have not pieced together.
What's worse than losing the public? Losing your industry. Sources confirm Blake's go-to circle of A-listers, Bradley Cooper, Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, are quietly backing away. They don't want to be seen at brunch, caught in selfies, or attached to any of the chaos. Even Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, ride or die party guest, has reportedly gone silent. And Ryan? Same story. The bromance energy is fading. Hugh Jackman's been giving vague, mumbled responses. Friends like Glenn Powell are reportedly feeling trapped in awkward loyalty skits just to stay in the A-list loop. Bottom line, nobody wants to go down with them. The more the scandal spreads, the more Hollywood whispers get louder. They're not who we thought they were.
Him and Blake Lively were deluded enough to believe that it was inorganic traffic online. Like this, there's no way people don't like us. We're so wonderful. We're so amazing. We're so hot. We're so pretty. Our friends are rich. We know Taylor Swift. The world loves us. Like, come on.
Just when it felt like Blake might wriggle out of the narrative, Candace Owens ripped the curtain down completely. She exposed Blake not just as a tantrum-throwing diva or a control freak, but as someone who built an entire Hollywood career on strategic manipulation. Blake didn't just act in roles. She allegedly acted her way through friendships, press interviews, and legal conversations. And she allegedly used Ryan like a chess piece, an A-list weapon she aimed at anyone who questioned her authority. Candace even hinted that Ryan might want out of the marriage, out of the scandal, out of the role Blake cast him in. Imagine giving your image, your career, and your marriage to a woman who pulled the strings, then watching it all fall apart, and the courts won't let you off the hook. Blake's carefully crafted empire is now a scandal-ridden wasteland, and Ryan's charm is drowned in damage.
So everything is falling down for you guys because people perceive you as bullies. And you're essentially saying like a bully argument, which is, so what, big deal, sorry your feelings are hurt, but this isn't a rise to an actual claim.
It's one thing to be exposed. It's another thing to be abandoned. For years, Blake Lively used Taylor Swift's name like it was her personal insurance policy. She name-dropped her in meetings, flaunted their friendship like a crown, and used Taylor's image for leverage whenever she needed to strong-arm a studio or add glitter to her reputation. But now that the subpoenas are flying and the lawsuits are demanding receipts, Taylor Swift is gone. Silent, absent, ghost mode. And who can blame her? Blake's been pretending to have Taylor's blessing, dragging her into meetings, acting like they were a packaged duo, and now Taylor might have to hand over private text. Messages under oath? Yeah, even pop queens have limits. The message is clear, Blake's legal mess is her own, and no one's sticking their neck out for her anymore.
Thin-skinned outrage, essentially, over us bullying you. That doesn't make you look good on paper, it doesn't make you look good in the court of public opinion. It makes you look like what you actually are, which are a bunch of bullies who think can get away with everything.
And then there's Ryan Reynolds. The man who once stood center stage defending his wife is now weirdly quiet. And behind that silence, rumors are boiling. Candace's team made it clear Ryan has secrets too, and not just petty drama. We're talking behind-the-scenes deals, shady communications, legal tricks that got denied in court, and actions that look a lot like manipulation. Insiders say the couple tried to hide evidence under attorney's eyes-only protection. You don't do that unless you're hiding something explosive, and with his legal stunt backfiring and the motion to dismiss getting tossed, Ryan's not just out of moves, he may be out of the marriage, because when the cameras turned and Blake needed him most, he vanished.
I think of this guy, Sklenar, like Brandon Sklenar. What a miserable guy. I cannot stop focusing on him because...
But we need to talk about something no one saw coming. Blake's obsession with Scarlett Johansson. Apparently, Blake didn't just want power, she wanted to outshine. According to Candace Owens, part of this entire power grab over It Ends With Us was Blake trying to one-up Scarlett, who had just landed her own directorial debut. Blake allegedly couldn't stand it. Not because she hated Scarlett, but because she wasn't Scarlett, and she knew it. The looks, the talent, the film cred, Scarlett had everything Blake wanted. And rather than build her own lane, Blake allegedly threw tantrums, hijacked projects, and manipulated Hollywood to feel important. Newsflash, Blake. Jealousy isn't a business plan. And this wasn't empowerment. This was desperation.
Every uncomfortable moment, we felt like, well, now they could do the same thing. You know,
Right.
Brian Friedman could say, here, exactly. Okay, you want to do a settlement? Here it is. We're going to write, you are sick people who tried to take over my movie and crush a little peanut like me just because I'm a man bun wearing, soft, beautiful soul.
Remember when Blake tried to rebrand herself as the next Reese Witherspoon? The producer, the director, the boss lady, the girl-powered media mogul. Yeah, that dream's over. Blake's big vision to be a creative powerhouse has been burned to the ground. Studios aren't calling, investors aren't biting, and insiders are labeling her a risk no one wants to touch, because behind the Instagram perfection was a woman allegedly willing to destroy careers, weaponize lawsuits, and manipulate anyone who threatened her fantasy. Now that fantasy is a cautionary tale.
Ryan has true daddy issues, and he's had this sociopathic character trait since he's been in my drama club.
This tantrum wasn't just about losing control, it was about exposing everything Blake thought she'd buried. Candace Owens dragged every fake headline, every PR cover-up, every whispered insult into the light. She demanded accountability, not a quiet settlement, not a press-crafted apology, but a full public reckoning. And the public? They're here for it. Blake Lively, once America's red carpet sweetheart, is now being talked about like she's radioactive. Studios are done. Directors are whispering. Execs are warning each other. Never again. The same people who used to fight over her name are now burying her projects and dodging her calls. Even the gossip mags that once kissed her heels, they're printing exposés on how she micromanaged her image into the ground.
And I actually do believe that Ryan Reynolds has demonstrated that he's a narcissist. He's a total narcissist. He cannot comprehend a world. I truly believe he cannot comprehend a world in which him and his wife are not liked.
The career in ruins. The reputation gone. The husband MIA. The friends silent. The fans watching it all burn. This wasn't just a meltdown. It was a full-scale collapse. Blake wanted power. She wanted control. She wanted to run the narrative. Instead, she became the narrative. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you'll be the first to get notified about the latest drama.